This is the Last Transmission podcast. A mosque, a church, and a synagogue, all built side by side. It's called the Abrahamic Family House, a symbol of peace and unity. Or so they say. But what if this interfaith monument is more than just coexistence? What if it's a step toward a global religion, one that denies the truth of Jesus Christ and prepares the world to worship the beast? Today, we break down the Vatican's growing role in uniting world faiths, Pope Francis's shocking statement about religious diversity, and the prophetic warnings found in Revelation 13, Revelation 17, and 2 Thessalonians 2. Is this the harlot of Babylon? Is this the great deception? Let's follow the signs before the truth is outlawed.
Welcome to the Last Transmission. Have you ever felt like the ground beneath our feet is shifting, especially, when it comes to faith?
Oh, absolutely. It really does feel like the religious landscape is changing fast, very visibly.
It makes you stop and think, doesn't it? And today we're looking at something, a convergence of events and ideas that some believe is definitely more than just coincidence.
That's a lot to unpack, certainly.
Let's start with this. February 2023, Abu Dhabi. The Abrahamic Family House opens. You've got a mosque, a church, and a synagogue all right there together.
Side by side, facing each other.
What does that image bring up? Is it just, tolerance, a symbol we need? Or is there something more going on?
Well, that's really the core of it, isn't it? On the surface, yes, it's a very tangible symbol of interfaith dialogue.
The whole design speaks volumes.
It really does. The layout, the symbols lit up, the crescent, the cross, the menorah, it's designed to communicate peaceful coexistence.
And the backstory is key here too, right? This didn't just spring out of nowhere.
Not at all. It really gained momentum after Pope Francis met with the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Ahmed El-Tayeb, back in 2019.
The signing of the document on human fraternity.
Exactly. That document, it's sort of laid out these, ambitious goals for interfaith understanding. And the Abrahamic Family House looks like a direct result of that commitment.
So it's a physical manifestation of that document in a way.
You could definitely say that. The president of the center, Mohammed Khalifa al-Mubarak, he called it a new landmark for peaceful coexistence and understanding. That sums up the official vision.
And the words spoken at the opening were quite striking, too. Cardinal Guissot mentioned that believers don't need to renounce their own beliefs to befriend others.
Right. He said something like, each tradition has a command to live with brothers and sisters, whatever their religion.
And Chief Rabbi Mervis from the UK called it historic, talking about the children of Abraham gathered to build a new world.
Yes, based on recognizing the part of the divine in every person, aiming to shape a new world built from loving kindness. Very hopeful language.
It sounds incredibly positive on the face of it. And for Jewish life there, it seems quite significant.
Oh, hugely significant. It's the first purpose-built synagogue in the UAE since, 1931? And funded by the UAE government itself.
Wow.
Yeah, Rabbi Bruce Lustig, he commented, it changes all the rules, which gives you a sense of the historical weight.
And this fits into a wider pattern with the UAE, doesn't it? Promoting tolerance.
It does seem to. They have a specific ministry for tolerance. They host peace forums. They've even helped rebuild religious sites destroyed by conflict, like in Mosul.
So it's part of a broader initiative.
Yes, but, questions do come up.
Yeah.
Observers ask, okay, does this tolerance extend everywhere to converts from Islam, to non-believers, other groups who face issues?
Those are fair questions.
And apparently the UAE Minister of Tolerance, Sheikh Naheen, suggested the center is partly their attempt to grapple with those very questions.
So it's maybe a step, not the final destination.
Exactly. A milestone, definitely. But the real test is whether it fosters genuine respect for deep differences, and if that tolerance truly filters through society.
Okay, let's pivot a bit to the Vatican's part in all this, especially under Pope Francis. That 2019 trip to the UAE seems crucial.
Absolutely. That trip and the document on human fraternity that came out of it really signaled a strong push towards interfaith dialogue from his perspective.
There was that statement he made, too, about religious diversity being willed by God. That raised some eyebrows, didn't it?
It did. He said, pluralism and the diversity of religions are willed by God in his wisdom. Now, the intention might be fostering respect, but some read that as, potentially putting all religions on an equal footing with Christianity.
Which leads directly into the concern about syncretism, right? The merging of beliefs.
Precisely. That's the worry for some, that in the pursuit of unity, essential Christian doctrines might get blurred or compromised.
And this isn't a brand new fear, is it?
No, not at all. People point back to Pope Pius XI, his encyclical Mortalium Animos from way back in 1928. He warned against the idea that all religions are sort of equally good, warning against a unity that might dilute specific Christian truths.
But the Church's official stance on interfaith dialogue has shifted since then, hasn't it? Especially after Vatican II.
That's true. The Declaration Nostra Aetea from Vatican II was a major development. It emphasized finding common ground.
But it wasn't meant to be a doctrinal change, was it? More pastoral.
Correct. It's generally understood as a pastoral document, not a formal definition of doctrine. But its emphasis on dialogue has, for some, been interpreted in ways that seem to equate Christianity with other faiths, particularly Islam, despite, fundamental differences.
And those differences are significant.
Very significant, especially concerning the divinity of Jesus and the concept of the Trinity. The Quran itself, in Surah 5, verse 72, for instance, explicitly denies the core Christian understanding of God. These aren't small details.
And then there's the Great Commission for Christians, Matthew chapter 28.
Right, verses 18 to 20, the call to make disciples of all nations. That's a foundational command.
So how does that square with an interfaith approach that might imply all paths are equally valid?
That's the tension, isn't it? If the dialogue suggests all religions lead to the same place, does that lessen the perceived need or the importance of evangelism as commanded in the Great Commission? It's a serious question for many believers.
Okay, now let's bring in another layer entirely. The perspective that sees all this through the lens of, biblical prophecy about the end times.
Yes, this is where interpretations shift dramatically. Some people look at Revelation chapter 17 specifically.
The great harlot.
Exactly. Often interpreted as a symbol for a powerful global false religious system. And some see the current interfaith movement, including things like the Abrahamic Family House, as potentially paving the way for something like that. What are your thoughts on that potential link?
It's a heavy thought, definitely. And then you have the figure of the false prophet in Revelation chapter 13.
Verses 11 through 15. That's another key passage for this interpretation. He appears like a lamb.
But speaks like a dragon, deceptive.
Exactly. And performs great signs, deceives people, makes them worship the first beast, the Antichrist figure.
Even calling down fire from heaven, it says in verse 13.
Right, miracles used for deception. And it culminates in the creation of this image of the beast and forcing people to worship it or face severe consequences. That's verses 14 and 15.
It paints a picture of immense spiritual deception and coercion.
It does. And this ties into other warnings, like in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
The strong delusion.
Yes, verse 11. God sending a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. It's presented as a judgment, doesn't it?
It seems so. The preceding verses, 9 through 12, link it to those who refuse to love the truth and so be saved. It follows the work of Satan displayed in counterfeit miracles.
And verse 3 of that same chapter, 2 Thessalonians 2, mentions a great falling away and apostasy that has to happen before the man of sin or man of lawlessness is revealed.
There's also 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, warning about departing from the faith in later times.
And Jesus himself warned about this too, didn't he? In Matthew chapter 24, verse 24.
Right, about false messiahs and false prophets rising up, performing great signs and wonders.
To deceive, if possible, even the elect. A very stark warning.
So putting it all together, some interpretations see the modern interfaith movement, these pushes for unity, even buildings like the Abrahamic Family House, as potential steps, maybe unwitting steps, towards this prophesied one-world religion.
That's the argument, that the focus on common ground, while sounding good, might actually be eroding crucial doctrinal distinctions, preparing the world stage for a universal religious system divorced from biblical truth.
It makes you wonder, what could this great deception actually look like today with our technology?
People speculate, could it involve advanced technology, AI,
Yeah.
maybe manipulated historical finds, or even, narratives about extraterrestrial contact, things that could create a global paradigm shift.
Something incredibly persuasive on a massive scale.
Exactly. And that idea of the strong delusion from 2 Thessalonians, some think it might even be God allowing a kind of sifting process, separating those with genuine grounded faith from those more easily swayed.
So we look at the Abrahamic Family House. It's there. It's real. A symbol of dialogue endorsed by Pope Francis.
A tangible reality.
But when you overlay these prophetic interpretations, the implications suddenly become Well, much more complex and debated, especially for believers.
Absolutely. Is it just a positive move towards peace and understanding in our messy world? Which is a noble goal in itself.
Or could it be, even unintentionally, part of a much larger prophetic picture, contributing somehow to what Scripture describes as an end-times religious system?
That's the tension. And it's a critical point of discernment.
We're definitely living in significant times. You can feel the shifts religiously, politically. For those holding to these biblical prophecies, the call really is to be discerning, isn't it? To examine events against Scripture, to hold fast to the truth as they understand it.
It brings to mind 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 again. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition.
And then verse 11, that stark reminder. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion that they should believe the lie.
It really puts the onus on individual discernment and faithfulness.
This has been the last transmission. We really encourage you, our listeners, to continue to watch, to pray for wisdom, for understanding.
And to delve deeper into these scriptures, look at the events unfolding. Consider how these things connect or don't connect in your own understanding.
What are your thoughts on all this? We invite you to explore these complex issues further. Think them through, pray them through.
You've been listening to the Last Transmission podcast. The one world religion isn't coming. It's being constructed. One interfaith handshake at a time. The harlot rides the beast. The false prophet speaks like a lamb. And the world, desperate for peace, accepts a lie instead of the truth. Don't fall for unity without Jesus. Don't be swept into tolerance without truth. The great deception has begun. Until next time, this was The Last Transmission.